Hey guys, so I'm going to start a new series, and this one's about getting out of an emotionally abusive or an emotionally toxic relationship, especially when it involves a narcissist. We've been having a lot of dialogue over on my Facebook page about this subject. A lot of people have been chiming in, and some of the questions that they are asking and what I'm going to attempt to support you guys in having an answer around are the following. Number one, what is going on inside the mind of the narcissist or the abuser? Why are they this way? What do they get out of it? Why? It's just a lot of whys, and we're going to talk about that. Number two, how do you deal with the psychological trauma and the aftermath of getting out of the abusive relationship? How do you cope with what's going on within yourself in those months, days, weeks, whatever it is, years, okay? And then number three is about kind of how to prevent yourself from entering into that circumstance again, figuring out what you do or don't want, figuring out what happened there to begin with, the figuring out what's in the future. And I'm also going to break down for you specifically how to get out of a relationship that's emotionally abusive and toxic. So I'll give you steps and we'll talk about that. So there's going to be 3 to 4 videos coming up. This is the first one. The first one is about, what's going on in their mind. So I have this question come up all the time, and actually this is a huge driving factor for why a lot of people stay for a while, because they just seek to understand. Now trust me, I get it. I seek to understand so much in my own life as well. I want to know why someone's being the way they are to me. I want to know why. I just want to understand it. The problem here is that those of us who are not abusers cannot understand why the abuser is abusing us. We are made up differently. We don't have it in us. That's why we're victims of abuse and not abusers. I understand that a toxic person, an emotional abuser, a narcissist, whatever, can warp things so that you start to think that you are a bad person, that you are an abuser, that you're the one that's the problem. So you might hear my words and you might be like, well, no, I've done all these awful things. I am abusive. I am this bad person. I'm not acting like myself. I did this, whatever. You can list off, I'm sure, a bunch of things that you did that you're not happy about in the relationship. Okay. Number one, the very fact that you have things that you're not happy about, that you feel guilt about, that you feel shame about, that you want to reconcile, that you want to redeem, that you're sorry for, shows me that you're not an abuser. Abusive people do not feel bad, okay? Emotional abusers, narcissists, people out to get you, they don't feel remorse. Have you noticed that they don't really apologize? Have you noticed that they don't really take any personal responsibility for their part in any of what's happening? Have you noticed that it's always you? Have you noticed that you are up at night? You are having panic attacks? You feel terrible? They don't? This is because you're the victim, because you're someone who's seeking to cultivate a real relationship. They are not. I'm so sorry to tell you this. You've spent a lot of time with them. You've put a lot of energy into this. They are not seeking to cultivate a real relationship with you. And let's define our terms, right? What's a real relationship? Well, in my worldview, a real relationship is one in which you show up emotionally vulnerable, open, you engage, you seek to love, you seek to give and to receive love. You seek to show each other your truest self. You seek to be vulnerable and kind and et cetera, with the other person. Okay? They are not seeking to have that with you. They're just not. They want to show up and have things be their way. They seek control. They want to tell you how to be, what to do. Everything's about you. The abusive dynamic is the more important dynamic. What happened with the lighting in this, though? I can't fix it. The point that I'm making here is you're seeking real connection. You're seeking real love. You're seeking to see someone else's soul, have them see yours. You're seeking a partnership, companionship, a life together. They're seeking control of you. They're seeking validation. They're seeking you to build them up. They're seeking for you to do what they want. It's a different thing. You have different goals. And so when you think you've harmed them, you're awake at night. You are concerned. You try to work on yourself. You try to do what you can to make it better. You go really introspective. They don't do these things because they don't want the same relationship that you want. So the why is it that they do these things that they do to you? Why do they abuse you? You getting stuck in why is a little bit dangerous, and I'm going to tell you that because my clients and people I know who get stuck in why, they use it as a reason for why they are not getting out of the relationship. They say to themselves, if I can only understand, then I can make sense of it, or then I can work with this person, or then we can if-then. Whenever you find yourself in an if-then statement, you're living in expectation and you're not living in reality. You're saying if something was different, then problems would be solved. But what I would like to invite you to do is enter reality, where this is the problem, the thing isn't different. What do we do now? The situation is such that we don't understand the narcissist, we don't understand the abuser. They are cruel, they are heartless, they are unkind, they are seeking to dismantle our sense of self-worth. They are succeeding in dismantling our sense of self-worth often. We don't understand why. I'm going to tell you my idea of why. So as many of you know, I'm also an intuitive. I read energy. There is a very true thing that happens energetically when someone is being cruel or mean. A narcissist, and you can watch this and you'll see it happen and feel your way there. If they see you in a good place, if they sense that you're emotionally stable or that you're doing well or whatever it might be, there goes the lighting. They will seek to bring you down a notch. When that happens, when they hurt you, when they cause you emotional harm, when they dismantle some part of you, when they are cruel to you and it lands, they get like high off of it. Meanness is like a shot of adrenaline or a shot of energy for these people. Being cruel, harming you, having that power, it like lights them up. It like enlivens them. It like fuels them in some way. They are literally getting energy from harming you. And it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel strong. It gives them that high. It really does. So there's a why right there. They have power. They can see their own power. They do something to you. It breaks you down. They're very aware of that power, and they love that. They feed on it. Notice what happens if you ever show up in a good place around them. They will bring you down. They don't want you in a good place. They want to suck that out of you. It gives them energy. This is another reason why you know that you are different than them. That you're not an abuser, because you don't seek to do that to people. Okay? They want to harm. They want to get that energy. They want to be lifted up. And these people have a scarcity mentality. Watch for this too. Okay? Many people have a scarcity mentality. Not everyone who is an abuser, not everyone with a scarcity mentality is an abuser. But everyone who's an abuser has a scarcity mentality. And here's what I mean by that. They do not think that there is enough to go around for everyone. They don't believe there's enough love. They don't believe there's enough joy. They don't believe there's enough money. They don't believe there's enough energy. They don't believe there's enough sex. They don't believe there's enough anything. Attention. They don't think that there's an abundance of anything. They think if you're happy, it's taking away from their joy. They think if you're okay, they're not okay. They think if you're stable, they're not stable. They think if you give attention to anyone but them, that they don't get all the attention they could have. They want all of it. They have a scarcity mentality. They don't believe there is enough, and they want it all. They don't share. They don't believe in that. There is no equality here. There is no spreading out the joy. There's no charitable sense to them. That doesn't mean they're not involved in charities, by the way, because a lot of these people are really like charismatic, but we'll talk about that later. They aren't charitable about themselves, about the things that make people kind and good and generous and sweet and loving and like maternal. These people are not charitable with good internal qualities. They have a scarcity mentality. They seek to hoard all of what they perceive they want or need, and they will take it from you, or they will take it from others. Or if they see you, God forbid they see you interacting with someone in a way that is nice, they think, well, that means there's less kindness for me and I want it all, and now you're punished. They are operating from scarcity. This is not something that is your job to fix. You cannot reform an abuser. You cannot reform an abuser. You can't. You cannot change them. I want you to sit with that. So many of y'all are staying in these relationships because you think you can change the person. Because you have heard them maybe once or twice say they wish they in their moments of trying to reel you back in. Oh, I wish I was better. I wish this was better. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want this one. And you are such a kind-hearted soul that you are like, oh my God, they need me, they want me, they whatever. You can't change them. They have to change themselves. They have to want to change. So ask yourself this question. Do they want to change? Have they given you any indication that they want to change? Or do they want you to change? Or do they want something external to them to change? They want the world to change. It's never them, right? It's always something else. Look to yourself now. Do you take responsibility for things? Yes. Do you seek to improve yourself? Yes. Do you seek to improve situations? Yes. That's because you're not an abuser. You're actually seeking to resolve circumstances. I'm gonna pause for a second. Okay, there was police cars going by or something. So you seek to resolve problems. You seek to look to improve. You seek to make better circumstances. You are generous with your love, affection, kindness, etc. They are not. So this is another fundamental difference. So the question, what do they want? Where do they come from? They want to get high off of your energy. They want to steal your joy. Oh my God, there's construction happening somewhere. They want to steal your joy. They want to steal your energy. They want to steal your anything positive that's happening. They don't believe that there's enough goodness to go around, and they think that they should have all of it, especially yours. If you're giving out anything, they want it to go just to them. They cannot share you. They cannot share your energy. You are literally fueling them. You're giving them everything. And it's never good enough, and it never will be, okay? They want you to bolster them up. They want you to make them feel like they are worthy. They're getting all of their self-esteem from you. They just want you to just devote your entire life to them, your entire world to them. They want you to give, 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 give. It will never be enough. But that is why they're doing it. That is why. Because they don't know how to give to themselves. They don't feel okay within themselves. They don't have any skills for themselves. They seek for someone else to give them everything. And that someone else is unfortunately you. And it will never, ever be good enough because they are asking you to fill a well inside of them that only they could fill. However, they will never be willing to fill it because they don't think it's their job. They don't think it's their responsibility. Oh my goodness. To make themselves okay. For whatever reason, they think it's someone else's responsibility to give them everything that they need. And they've picked you. And they're going to drain you, drain you, drain you, drain you until you have nothing left. And then they are going to move on from you. And you might say, oh, they're broken inside. I want to help heal them. If only. They said they want to heal. They've told me before. Sure they have, because they were trying to keep you from leaving. Okay? If they really wanted to heal, they would be doing some self-work. So just pay attention to their actions. Do they take responsibility for anything that they do? Do they go to seek support? If they are in therapy, are they actually doing the work? Do they seek to understand themselves? Do they say they're sorry? Do they change in a permanent way? Okay? Do they consider your feelings on a permanent level? Or do they play okay, they play nicely for a while, and then it reverts back, reverts back, reverts back? If someone wants to get better, they will get better. They will do their self-work. If someone wants to abuse you, they will abuse you, and they will tell you what you need to hear long enough for you to just stay with them, until they can go back to their old habits, their old ways. So this is the why. This answers why. And I'm sorry, and it's terrible, and it's horrible, and because you care, you want to help fix them. You want to help save them. But I need to ask you a question. Can you really fix or save somebody else if you haven't yet done your own self-work to fix and save yourself? Because you know that the situation that you're in is not okay, and you are your only resource. I mean, you can seek therapy, and I recommend it highly. You can reach out to a coach. You can reach out to friends and family. You can reach out to watching videos like this or reading articles. Okay, there are resources, but ultimately you're the one who needs to do her own self-work to get yourself to a place where you're whole again. And I understand there's a kindness in you that you just want this person to be okay. And if only they weren't this way, everything would be so wonderful. But the reality is they are this way. And things are not wonderful. And I'm sorry. And all you can do is get by yourself, do your self-work. If they really seek to improve, they will go off by themselves and do their self-work. And then perhaps you can unite later. If it's wrong, they're not an abuser, they're not terrible like they say, send them on their way. Say, go do your self-work and let's meet up again in a year or 6 months or whatever it is, and you will have changed. But the truth is, most of the time, they don't want to change. They just want someone who will bolster them up, feed them their energy, stroke their ego, do what their bidding is, do everything in their life for them. And they will not give any of that back. So sit with that, look to yourself, and see what you need to do to get yourself whole and safe.